And this, oh, I love this one. Oh, then who's going to mow your lawns? Who's going to do the construction? Who's going to pick the grapes? So you're okay with our people being exploited then? They're getting paid minimum wage. My grandmother worked in the fields. My mom worked in the fields. My grandpa, my uncles. They would tell them, either you work longer and you don't get paid overtime, or we're going to call immigration. Our people had been threatened by this for years. For years. I grew up in the heart of it. Cesar Chavez, my grandma and my grandpa and my mom worked in the fields when Cesar Chavez was there. Like, you don't tell me. I'm sitting there. I went to go have lunch. My grandma made sopitos for me the other day. I was there in Lamont, California, Woods Edition off of DeGiorgio. And I'm talking to my grandma. I went because I wanted to go learn. I'm like, what am I missing here? I said, Grandma, tell me. My grandma's been here since my mom was born in 1969. She got here in 1975. She remembers all of it. And I said, Grandma, how do you feel about these posters? Ay, qué pendejos. Why would you do that? You're making us look bad.
Wow.
She says, you got to love this country.
Oh, my God.
But it's all the new woke pendejos. It's not.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel with your man Wise. We got to check out this clip here, man. This brother right here, Ricky, goes slap off and exposes the No King protest, the Mexican immigrants, and just their diabolical behavior, and really just, waste of time, to be honest with you, and obviously waste of taxpayer money when it comes to the destruction and just the damage that they cause due to this protest. You guys got to hear this for yourself, man. Like, share, subscribe. Let's get into it.
First of all, let me make two full disclosures. Number one, I don't speak on behalf of all the Hispanic community, because I always see those comments. Oh, you don't speak on my behalf. I'm not speaking on your behalf. I'm not speaking on your behalf. That's number one. Number two, there is a portion of this that is emotional for me, and I'll explain why. I mean, I'm not gonna. I can't sit here and not tell you that I don't have an emotional factor to this. Let me explain why. My parents came here. My mom was 6 years old when she came to this country. My grandmother had already had 5 kids. My grandmother came over here. She was 6 months pregnant with my tia Teresa. My tia Teresa was born in San Francisco. She jumped the border pregnant, and they lived in San Francisco. So my mom was here, beautiful little redhead girl, when she was 6 years old. My dad came here when he was 18 years old. When my mom's side of the family, they worked in the fields, picked grapes, you name it, all of it. My uncles were mayordomos. My mom picked grapes. She did the field work, all of that, because we live in Bakersfield in the San Joaquin Valley. And my dad and his family and his brothers ended up in the restaurant business. So my dad was a dishwasher. My dad was a waiter. My dad never did the fields, but he did do that part. And all his brothers did the exact same thing. They ended up moving on to become entrepreneurs, owned restaurants that came out on Time Magazine. My dad and my uncle's side of the family became very successful entrepreneurs. So there is an emotional side to this. And I would be lying if I didn't say that. However, one thing that we also have to understand is that no matter what way you look at it, the law is the law. And you could say, oh, sellout, coconut. I've already heard all this other bullshit. I've already heard all of it. And I've been called all of it. But I will tell you that a lot of people also agree with that. For example, I know that a lot of the protests are being funded, and they're out there burning cars, waving the Mexican flag. It's wild to me that you come to a country that we broke into. Let's call it for what it is, even though it's emotional to me. I come from illegal immigrant parents. I have illegal immigrant family members to this day. And that you're demanding something as if you're entitled to it. And you're waving the Mexican flag in America and saying, oh, F ICE. I was having a conversation with somebody on Instagram the other day. We were going back and forth. I said, if let's say right now, with all your stupid ass little signs, if we sent you to Congress and you represented all the Hispanic community, how would we end up? If everything was on your shoulders, with your FIs, stolen land, this used to be Mexico. Is that what you're going to go tell all these congressmen? If amnesty was on your shoulders, is that the route that you're going to take? And that's the irritating part, I think, for a lot of us. I understand, for example, 1986, which that's how my grandfather became legal here. and my uncles and my mom did was because Ronald Reagan gave amnesty. And here's my emotional part. That a lot of people won't agree with on the right, okay? But I'm gonna speak I'm just gonna be very honest. When we vote, for example, when Trump, by the way, just to make one thing clear, I do not regret it. I do not regret it. I don't like everything that Trump does, but I don't regret it. I'd much rather have a Trump than a Kamala. When Trump said, hey,
I 1000% agree with him there. I 1000% agree with him there. You don't have to like everything, about anybody, to be honest with you. You for daggone sure don't have to like, everything that Trump has done or Trump is doing. You don't. But you have to know that if the Biden-Harris administration would have been able to continue, and basically it would have been the Harris-Walz administration. They allowed upwards of 30 million people over here over 4 years. Her administration would have fundamentally changed America forever. Forever. It would have. You guys know it. It would have been the end of America as we know it. You guys know it.
This is the people we're going after. We were being told that there was people eating cats and dogs in apartments in Denver, Colorado, and the Tren de Agua, and this, and that. That's what we were being told. So therefore, when we're saying, hey, they're gonna go after all these guys that Biden let in, they're saying anywhere between 15 and 11 and 15 million people. That's who we assumed they were gonna come after. Your first raids are in freaking LA. Like, you're like, what the hell is going on here? That's the emotional part. Logically, it's the law. That's the logical side. And any Hispanic that comes from immigrant parents, whether your parents are immigrant or Hispanic here or any minority, you have to see things for what they are. It's the law. Like, no matter what, it's the law. Matter of fact, Rob, can you play this? Let me give context before, Rob. This video is in Tijuana. The Central Americans showed up in Tijuana. Nobody likes illegal immigration. Let's see what the Mexicans in Mexico did to the Central Americans, please. Shoot it, Rob.
Hey, no one likes illegal immigration. Nobody does. Y'all got to see this video.
What's this, Ricky?
This is in Tijuana when a Central American caravan came to Tijuana. And look at the signs. But you'll see them right now, Pat. It's only a minute-long video. No a la invasión. No to the invasion. No a la invasión. This is in Mexico. This is not LA.
Those are the Mexicans on the other
Mexicans.
on that side. Yeah.
Look how they're treating the Central Americans. Puro Tijuana cabrones. Look. Primero nuestros pobres, no invasión. Tijuana, no, de primero México. First America.
Give us a little subtitle,
Inmigrantes,
Ricky.
no, sí, ilegales, no la invasión. Mexico does this, you hypocrites. That's what pisses me off. Mexico.
Now that's crazy, ain't it? Y'all seen it. No illegal immigrants in Mexico. But y'all want us to allow it here in the United States. Y'all want us to be okay with it here in the United States. Now, just to piggyback real quick, just to go back just a quick second. In 1986, President Ronald Reagan, he enacted or signed into law the Immigration Reform and Control Act, IRCA, commonly known as Reagan's Amnesty. He basically gave 2.7 million undocumented immigrants the ability to gain legal permanent residence here in America. This happened in 1986. So that is a fact. That did happen.
Mexico does this. You want to make, racist, fascist. If you don't support the cause, then you're implicit. Silence is implicit. What about this shit? What about this? No country likes illegal immigration. There's no racism involved. There's no fascism involved, whether we like it or not. And if Trump and if ICE were to pick up, I would be personally affected in a very, 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 very close manner to me. But the law are the law. This president, and by the way, nobody said anything when Barack Obama deported 3 million people. Oh, and I love this. Oh, he did due process. No, he didn't. In 1996, Bill Clinton signed a bill that allowed expedited exportations. He used it, Bush used it, Obama used it, Biden used it, and so did Trump. There's no due process. 75% of the people that Barack Obama deported were deported immediately using the expedited deportation. But it's so crazy that you say these facts to Mexicans, to Hispanics. Oh, no, because now no Mexican used to know what the word due process was, Pat. Now all the Mexicans know due process. They're all lawyers now. They're all lawyers now. They're all lawyers. All of them are lawyers. Due process, Barack Obama did it. You know what Mexicans remind me of? It's like when you're with that boyfriend that beats you up, but at the end he tells you he loves you, he'll never do it again. That's how they are with the Democrats. By the way, what happened last year when they were questioning the lady that was responsible for the 300 for the kids, the immigrant kids? They couldn't track 300,000 immigrant kids in 1 year. Where was the protest for that shit?
Zero.
Yeah, no protests, no conversation, no outrage, nothing. They lost 300,000 children. And to be honest with you, they still haven't said where those kids are. I believe that Tom Homan did mention that they found maybe 50 to 60,000 of these kids, something along those lines. But there's still a large amount of children unaccounted for.
Our kids, 30% of women coming up to the border from Central America, our women are getting raped on the way up. Because what happens in Mexico, and let's call it for what it is, and you can get all emotional stupid about it. Here's the reality behind things. Mexico is corrupt. So when you go and do some shit like that, and you say, okay, well, there's two choices. You're either going to go to jail, and I'm going to deport your ass back to El Salvador, Nicaragua, Honduras, Colombia, Peru, Chile, or this is what your option is. 30% of the women coming up to the southern border are being raped. Our people are dying in those deserts. And then there's the argument of, I love this one. Oh, then who's going to mow your lawns? Who's going to do the construction? Who's going to pick the grapes? So you're okay with our people being exploited then? They're getting paid minimum wage. My grandmother worked in the fields. My mom worked in the fields. My grandpa, my uncles. They would tell them, either you work longer and you don't get paid overtime, or we're going to call immigration. Our people had been threatened by this for years. For years. I grew up in the heart of it. Cesar Chavez, my grandma and my grandpa and my mom worked in the fields when Cesar Chavez was there. Like, you don't tell me. I'm sitting there. I went to go have lunch. My grandma made sopitos for me the other day. I was there in Lamont, California, Woods Edition off of DeGiorgio. And I'm talking to my grandma. I went because I wanted to go learn. I'm like, what am I missing here? I said, Grandma, tell me. My grandma's been here since my mom was born in 1969. She got here in 1975. She remembers all of it. And I said, Grandma, how do you feel about these posters? Ay, qué pendejos. Why would you do that? You're making us look bad.
Wow.
She says, you got to love this country.
Oh, my God.
But it's all the new woke pendejos. It's not, you know what? I feel bad because I know, because people like my grandparents and my uncles, they're sitting there like, bro, you're making this worse for us. Why are you doing that? But I understand to a certain point, it's organized chaos. They're paying people to do this, right? Mm-hmm. But I think that's the annoying part of Hispanic. You're burning down the city. But like, for example, I'll tell you, and it's so funny to hear people like in other states that were not raised in California or not live in California don't understand how this works. Because in California, this is the state that everybody came to first. Now you have Mexicans in Utah, Nebraska, Ohio, Pennsylvania. Shout out to Sal Rodriguez, one of my guys in Pennsylvania. He owns a bunch of business over there. Comes from immigrant parents. We were not in those states originally. In the 60s and 70s, we landed in California. It's insane to me. And they really think they're making a difference. But again, emotionally, Pat, I want amnesty. Emotionally. But I also understand how the American people can say no. And I can't get mad at that. There's got to be a part of you as a minority that's here illegally say, hey, listen, I was watching this video of the Venezuelan lady. She made such a great point. She says, why do you blame Trump for everything? How come you don't blame the presidents of the countries we're fleeing? Mm-hmm. How come you don't blame Maduro, Chavez? How come you don't blame the president of El Salvador before Bukele? How come it's all Trump's fault? You do realize we didn't want to come here. The only reason we left is because we're fleeing tyranny. We're fleeing communism. We're fleeing corruption. We didn't want to come here. Why do you come and protest a president that's taking, and then the lady says, is Venezuelan, oh my God, I'm getting the chills. She says, I wish that our president in Venezuela, Maduro and Chavez, would take care of us the way American president takes care of his people. I wish I wouldn't have to be here. I don't want to be away from my land. It's the hypocrisy. But again, it's the leftist hypocrisy. But I will tell you again, emotionally, if hey, and we talked about this last night, Pat, when we were having dinner.
Yep.
Hey, you've been here for 10 years or more. You got to pay a hefty fine. You got to do this, this, and this. I would ask for IRCA of 2025, the way it happened in 1986, is to give amnesty to the people that have been here for 10, 15, 20 years, that have paid their taxes, that have not committed a crime. Let them stay. I know that's emotional.
You heard what he said. You said what Trump said about farmers, right?
Yes,
he put
farmers.
What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts? Do you think that President Trump, for the people that have been here, not the people that just got here 3-4 years ago, not those folks, but people that have been here 15, 20 years, they've been working, they've been paying taxes, they have shown themselves as assets. They obviously hadn't gotten themselves in trouble. Yes, they're over here illegal, but they hadn't gotten themselves in any additional trouble, with the law, because they probably would have been caught and deported, depending on what state they're in. What are your thoughts on that? Let me know in the comment section. Would you be okay with an IRCA 2025? Would you be okay with an Immigration Reform and Control Act in 2025 for the people that can prove that they've been here 10 years or more? Would you be okay with it? Or are you going to put your foot down and say everybody's got to go? What are your thoughts on that? I want to hear from you guys.
That up, Rob?
It was farmers, hotel workers, and construction workers to let them stay.
I want to say it was those three.
Yes.
Is that so? Okay, our great farmers, people in the hotel leisure business, have been stating that our very aggressive policy on immigration's taking very good long-time workers away from them, with those jobs being almost impossible to replace. In many cases, it was the criminals allowed into our country by the very stupid Biden open border policy are applying for those jobs. This is not good. We must protect our farmers, but get the criminals out of the U.S. Changes are coming. So it's interesting. What this means is he's paying attention. For those of you guys that love business and you're super.
That's it, man. Hey, I want to hear from you guys. This dude was cooking with fish grease, man. He really was. And I understand his sentiment. I do. I understand he comes from people, that came over this country illegally. They did, through the 86 IRCA Act, they were able to get amnesty. But I do appreciate the fact that I appreciate his honesty and I appreciate his candor. And I understand that, he may be in a position where he's torn between what's right and a love for his people. I get it. I understand. But what the Biden-Harris administration did the previous 4 years was completely irresponsible. And in my opinion, I think it was an attempt to fundamentally wreck our nation. And here we sit today with people that shouldn't be here, sucking up our resources. Now, to an extent, we talked about this earlier today. We have a lot of people that could take some of these jobs, right? We got over 60, I think, if I'm not mistaken, California has over 60,000 people that are homeless. We got a ton of people that are on, some form of government assistance that could take these jobs, right? They could take these jobs. And I'm all for our citizens getting first dibs on those opportunities. And I wouldn't have an issue with these folks getting some form of work visa and filling in the gaps that, for whatever reason, can't be filled. But the wages have to be the same and they have to be competitive. It can't be a situation to where, a citizen wants to get the job, an illegal or, someone that maybe just got some amnesty and you're going to pay them and undercut them, to keep a citizen from obtaining these opportunities. I'm not for that. I'm not for that at all. Something needs to shake. Now, we do know that President Trump, after that tweet there, he kind of doubled back and said, nah, man, we're not going to do it like that. Just due to, some of the pressure. And I think a lot of folks are torn right down the middle when it comes to this topic. But what we do know is that illegal immigration directly affects every U.S. citizen in this country, every small business owner, and especially every working class and lower middle class worker in this nation. You're being affected, by people that just got here, because you're having to compete with people that are willing to underbid you by, in some cases, 100%. I've heard of situations where, people were bidding on construction contracts. They had small businesses. They put a legitimate bid out of $6,000, and a undocumented immigrant or an illegal immigrant with a business or they'll go and they'll undercut it and they'll say, hey, we'll do the work for $3,000. That can't be. That can't be. Something has to shape where we are making sure that we protect us and we protect our own. But I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. Like, share, subscribe, turn the notifications on to all so you never miss an upload. Join us Monday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for ARP in the morning. Appreciate the love, support. Hey, if you'd like to support this channel financially, join the ARP family, or you can buy your man a coffee. That link's in the description box below. Keep God first. Stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you all next time. Peace.
Vibes so raw, can't hide the truth. Words so sharp.